Are you an older, highly sensitive woman who has felt frustrated by how long it's taken you to recover from an illness, from travel, from a big event, even something super joyful in your life? If yes, then this video is for you. Welcome. My name is Mira, the Neurospicy Crone, and I myself have been dealing with some frustration about how long my recovery process has been in regards to an illness that I've had. So, for the last couple of weeks, I've been down and out with a virus. And something else happened right at the same time that really kind of knocked out my nervous system that I'll share in just a moment. But having this time to be able to do nothing but rest really helped me think through like the frustration, the shame, like why am I not better able to take care of myself and all of that. And I just wanted to share the insights that I've gleaned from that with you in this video. Thank you so much for being here. And so I'm starting to feel a little bit better. I thought, oh, I'm getting better. And then I would just get completely wiped out. The first hour of the day, I'm like, yeah, I'm back in my game. Then I'm out the whole day. I'm like, I cannot move. My body is exhausted. And so it's really interesting because if you do have a highly sensitive nervous system, you are in about a 20% of the population group that just has a really delicate, refined, articulated way of sending and receiving in the world, which is what our nervous system does. And now there's the other end of the spectrum, another 20% at the other end of the spectrum where they're super hardy. I mean, these are the guys that would be in Fight Club. Like, I can't even think about that movie. It's so intense and so violent. But you can get punched in the face and you're like, yeah, whatever. I don't even feel it. Whereas if I get a little scratch, I'm like, oh, ouch, you know? So, first of all, just to honor where we land on that spectrum of nervous system sensitivity. Neither is bad or good. It is diversity, and everything needs to be diverse. Think about a bouquet of flowers. The more different colors, different patterns, and different textures that are in that bouquet, the more beautiful it is. And so it is for the human experience. So we fall on that end of the spectrum where our nervous systems are sensitive. So what that means is, even on our best days, we're processing more. We're thinking more deeply about things. We're feeling things more deeply. We have more material to process than the average person. So we're naturally going to feel more worn down from that. Then if we get sick, or we have a big event, or we travel, or we have a procedure that's very invasive, which I'll share, then our nervous system really takes a hit. And it can be surprising how long it takes to recover. I've been surprised at how long it takes to recover. And I've also been wrestling with like, well, I should know better. I have all these techniques and I can't fight my way back to nervous system recovery. The less I do, the less I think about doing anything, the faster I'm going to be able to recover. So it's counterintuitive in a way. And so I have just been sitting with not doing things, with letting things go. Now, I'm in a fortunate position because I run my own business. I don't have any staff. I don't have a lot of outside pressure demanding my time or my productivity. So that's a real blessing. So when I do find myself feeling ill and I need to rest for a couple of weeks, I can do so. Now, if that's not the case, it's even more important that we give ourselves the time we need to recover because other people aren't going to give that to us. Part of the masking that we do as highly sensitive people is like, I'm fine, I'm getting better. And then people stop sort of tending to us, stop giving us the space we need to recover. And so that long-term history of masking also shows up when it's time to be in recovery mode. So something to be aware of there is like, am I pretending I'm okay when I'm not? Do I need to ask for help here? And so those are some things that I've been thinking about through this as well. And then even worrying about what I'm not doing is wearing me out. And so the way we think about things has a huge impact on our recovery time. And so what I've been doing is just letting myself rest, laying on the couch, reading a book, getting to bed early, taking my hot baths with Epsom salt, which I like to do anyways, doing really, really basic yoga. Like this would never make it on the cover of a yoga magazine. I'm laying on the floor doing very subtle movement, like pressing my low back into the floor and releasing. And that's just a very subtle pelvic tilt, starts to work with the energy and the body that can help create the conditions for well-being. Hugging the knees to the chest and then releasing and doing that repeatedly is another way to really balance the grounding energy of the body. And so very subtle things, when I don't feel like doing a more vigorous practice, can really aid my recovery. Also, restorative yoga poses, legs up the wall. It's so simple, and these simple techniques can be deceiving. Like, well, that can't really do anything. There's not much to it. But when you lay there for 5 or 10 minutes with your spine being supported by the floor and your legs up the wall, so that energy, as well as lymph, as well as blood, can all flow from the legs back to the center of the body where it can be processed, can really support your body's recovery. I've been dealing with a virus, so my immune system is working very, 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 very hard, and it's creating a lot of byproduct, dead viruses. That's kind of gross. We see it come out of our nose, we see it come out of other areas of our body, and so that lymphatic system is part of the garbage disposal system in the body. So just having your legs upside down can facilitate your body taking out the garbage from all that extra house cleaning it has to do when there's a virus in it. And then another really amazing practice that I've leaned into when I need to support my body in recovery is yoga Nidra. And so this is a deep guided relaxation, and it's really like the secret weapon of nervous system support, nervous system nourishment. I have a weighted blanket. It weighs about 11 pounds. And I made another video about how important warmth and weight is for the nervous system. So adding both warmth and weight with a weighted blanket, big, thick, fuzzy socks too. And then I have a fleece headband, and I wear it all the time. I was wearing it yesterday because I don't want any wind in my ears. Like, wind in my ears just fries my nervous system. So even on a fairly pleasant day, if it's windy and a little bit cool, I will wear this fleece headband. But it's perfect for an eye mask for yoga nidra because it covers my eyes, and it's just the perfect texture and the perfect weight, which is really important to me. And then the back of my head, that point of the back of my head that rests on the floor, is padded by that little bit of fleece fabric. So perfect. So I spend a lot of time making myself comfortable so that I can really release and relax deeply. And I'll be in that position for 10 or 15 minutes, even 20 or 30 minutes. There are guided audios that you can listen to do this yoga nidra, but I did this morning. I didn't wait till it was afternoon. I didn't wait till the night. It was like the first thing I did in the morning was I got up, I did some kitchen chores, feed the animals, all that stuff. And then I did a very gentle yoga practice, and I did a yoga nidra, this deep guided relaxation. So now I have the energy to make a video, which I haven't done for several weeks now because I didn't have the energy to speak to people, in the way that you do when you make a video. And so doing that deep rest before an activity is kind of a secret to being well. We think, I'll rest when I'm finished with my project. But what I'm suggesting and what I experienced, what I do is rest before the engaging activity, before the nervous system gets activated, so that you have a lower baseline that you're starting with. So again, when you think about a sensitive nervous system, we're already kind of at our limit, at our edge, processing, thinking about things, sensory experiences coming in. And then when we add a really impactful event, then it's easy to tip off the scale. It's easy to go into burnout and overwhelm. So starting well-resourced, whether you're recovering from an injury or an illness or not, is a really good way to nourish your nervous system over time. So having a leisurely morning, taking a walk, spending time in your garden, having your favorite cup of tea sends signals to the nervous system like, yeah, everything is cool. I can lower down my defenses. I can lower down my hypervigilance, whatever's going on, so that I can engage with that activity. So I'm so glad to be feeling better, and I'm glad that I had the time to let go. It was hard. I'm like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get this done anyways. And I really couldn't. And so I was like, I'm gonna let go. I'm gonna trust. I'm gonna welcome. I'm gonna allow. Just like nature, there's moments we went through, I guess, 6 weeks where we didn't have much rain at all. And nature was still growing at springtime, but she really slowed down. And now it rained. We had 2 nights of heavy rain, long soaking rains. And she's like, boom, boom, back on the job, right? She wasn't like, oh no, we got to get these flowers bloomed. She was like, whatever, I'll just wait for the rain, right? So it was beautiful to tune into nature's process of ebbing and flowing based on the conditions and not be like, I got to get my work done. I got to be productive. I got to do my thing, right? So there's so much unpacking that we need to do in regards to that dominant culture message about productivity and value and worth and all that BS. And as we age, it's a fantastic time to let that stuff go. So the depth of processing that we do, that slower processing, equates to slower recovery. It's just that's how the system works. And so what I learned about being ill and feeling better again was that I don't get to choose the timing. Just again, like in nature, I don't get to choose the timing. And the more I can let go, the more I can surrender, the better the process will be, because even worrying about things and thinking about things is exhausting. So to be like, yeah, whatever, everything's fine. It took some work, but I got there. All right, now I want to share the other thing that happened to me, which was very impactful on my nervous system. So it was right about the time that I was getting sick. So I'm not sure if I got sick at this place or was already getting sick, but I went to the dentist's office. And I don't go to the dentist, and I'm not making any public health announcement here. Everybody gets to do what they want to do in regards to their dental health. But I don't go. I have really healthy teeth. I don't feel like I need to be checking in. Are my teeth still healthy? Are my teeth still healthy? I don't do that with my bones in my body. So give me an x-ray. Just make sure everything's okay in there. It doesn't make sense to me. But I wanted to do some teeth whitening, because you look at the list of things that stain your teeth: black tea, blueberries, chocolate, whatever. That's my diet. So my teeth could use a little whitening. And they're like, okay, but we can't talk to you about whitening your teeth until we give you a checkup, an exam, and a teeth cleaning. I'm like, whatever, that's fine. So I went in for the exam, and then I went in for the teeth cleaning, and it was a horrible experience. It was only a half an hour. I had been there before, so I knew they had blankets, and I had brought my headphones so I could listen to really binaural beats, really soothe my nervous system while someone's hammering on my teeth, scraping stuff off my teeth. It's really unpleasant. I said, oh, can I have a blanket? And she offered me the X-ray apron. I was like, no, a real blanket. So I don't know if she didn't know there were blankets there or what, but I knew there were blankets there. And then I said, I'm going to have my headphones on in noise canceling. So do you need anything from me? Do I have to interact with you while you're cleaning my teeth, or can I just zone out? And she's like, yeah, go ahead. But then the whole time she kept saying, open your mouth, turn your head. I'm like, what? I can't hear you. So that was also stressful. And then I don't know what she did, but when I left, my mouth was so sore. My jaw was sore. My face was sore. My gums were raw for 4 or 5 days. This has been 2 weeks now, and I still have some discomfort. My teeth were extremely temperature sensitive, and they had never been before. So that it was like an assault on my mouth. And I don't know what she was doing I've had my teeth cleaned before, obviously. I don't know what she was doing, but it hurt so bad, and it felt like such an assault. It was, on my mouth. And so I was sick and dealing with this just really sore mouth. And it was a lot. My nervous system was flat out. So that's just the way it is. I'm not going to be the one who's you watch movies and somebody gets shot or something and they still keep doing stuff. I would just be oh, I can't move. Right. So I think that's ridiculous. I don't know if people actually do that in real life, but that's crazy. I'm like, oh, I have a scratch. I have to take a nap. So those two things together absolutely wiped me out. I wasn't able to stick to my content creation schedule like I do. I had 3 wonderful networking events that I was super excited to attend. I had to cancel all of them, which was a drag, because then I feel oh, I'm a flake. I don't do the things I say I'm going to do. So I really had a lot of opportunities to deal with my negative self-talk. So that was fun. But I wanted to make this video because I wonder if you too go through this experience as well. And please share it in the comments, because I think a lot of times we feel like we're all alone, and that what's wrong with me mantra that lives in my head is like, why is this taking so long? Why is it so hard for me? Why am I such a delicate flower? Why doesn't this bother other people and it bothers me? And to normalize it and legitimize it for ourselves and for each other, to be like, yeah, it does take longer to recover than you might expect or than is typical for other people, but that's because you're a unique, amazing, beautiful orchid flower. Orchid flowers are so incredibly beautiful, and they require very specific conditions in order to be that beautiful, in order to thrive. And that is okay. People love orchids because they are so challenging to keep well, and why can't we be that same way too? And so I'm on the mend. I'm going to continue to take care of myself, and I would love to hear from you. Have you dealt with something that was impactful on your nervous system, whether it was being ill or even travel? I went traveling, and for a full week, I was like, boom, on the ground. I'm like, I can't do anything. It was just so exhausting because my nervous system is constantly being stimulated, and I don't have the silence and the quiet mind and the deep pressure on my body and all that stuff. So we have to give that to ourselves on a regular basis. And then when something happens, we need that even more. And so what are some of your favorite go-to like restorative practices? Do you do restorative yoga? Do you just like to lay on the floor on a weighted blanket? Whatever it is. And how do you feel about when you have the need for recovery? Are you able to allow yourself that space, or do you feel the shame and the guilt and the frustration and the imposter syndrome and the masking, no, I'm fine, and all of that? So part of what we're doing as we're aging as highly sensitive women and finding out more about what that means to be highly sensitive is to unpack all of this and to reframe and to recognize that, yeah, I've been doing this, but I'm not going to do it anymore. I deserve the rest that I need for as long as I need it, and to trust out of that deep well of quiet and inactivity, the next right thing is coming. So I'll be on next week with the next right thing. We'll see what it is, right? And I would love to hear from you in the comments. So thank you so much for being here. It means a lot to me. And if you want to be in community with women who are going through this process like you are, I'm going to leave a link in the description below for the Crone's Nest. Check that out and see if it's a good fit for you. And thank you so much for being here.